Hello and welcome back in to the Bad Movie Reviews channel, hosted by none other than Daniel and myself, Ben, and we'll be reviewing possibly the greatest film of all time, a film called Mafia Mamma.
Mafia Mamma. I'm actually surprised you didn't do your two favourite gangsters or something like that. Like
Nah,
you do your normal warm up.
We are probably your two favourite Mafia members. We've cut off our pinkies. As you can see, they're no longer in the camera shot. They
Cut
are
off
cut
a
off.
finger.
Factually correct.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but
No.
But yes, Mafia Mamma, which is about a American woman whose grandfather passed away, who is the head of the mafia or one of the mafias in Italy, and she basically is, I guess, given the family business in his will. But it's directed by Catherine Hardwicke, who realistically has done first Twilight film, Red Riding Hood, which is awful. Other than that, not really a lot. But I guess we'll get straight into it. What overall did you think of the film?
Oh, look, I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed this film. It's not a good. It's not a good film, but it is one I would definitely recommend for my mum. I feel like she would froth this film. It's got a lot of humor that I think is both quite relevant to an older crowd, and look, I feel like it had some underlying chick flick vibes. So I feel like my mum would really.
We're probably not the target audience, that's for sure. But whoever the target audience is, I'm not sure.
We weren't the youngest in there, though.
Which I'll get into. No, which I'll get into when I touch on it. But yeah, sorry, continue.
Just an enjoyable film. I think it kind of it knew what it was supposed to do, and it was kind of supposed to take the piss out of a scenario that was like, here's this like mob family that's all really messed up, and let's just throw this American woman into it and let's see what happens. And I think it really embraced the comedy side, the ridiculousness at times. And I think that was something that should be commended on. It was very good. I can't remember too much about the score, so I can't really comment on that. There wasn't anything that really stood out for myself. No. I actually can't even remember.
I don't think there was really a score.
Any?
Like.
Yeah,
there wasn't.
Good. I'm back. So yeah,
there was a lot of music in the film that was very like cringy and like very much like played on like taking the piss out of.
Well, that's what I mean. I think it really embraced that, where it was like, here's this weird, awkward scenario or something where you should be reacting with a lot of shock, and it's like, okay, let's just play this nice romantic Italian music. And I was like, I like it. I like that it didn't take itself serious, and I think that's what it did well. It didn't try to be what it wasn't, which sounds dumb, but it tried to be exactly what it was, and it did. Toni Collette, wasn't it? Yep.
Yeah, Toni Collette. Yep.
Phenomenal in this. I thought. I thought she was great. I thought she acted out that kind of like dumb, ridiculous character kind of well. I think the script was pretty rough. There wasn't much room for anyone to really shine, or I guess it didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't do much, the script, at all. It was kind of had lots of plot holes. There was lots of things that just didn't line up or didn't make sense, and it wasn't well written. But despite that, it still was quite enjoyable. I think because it didn't take itself seriously, so you didn't have to. But look, I enjoyed this film. Mum, go watch it. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's your kind of film. For me, it's got like the movie Heat.
With Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, it had those kind of vibes. I'm like, that's something my mum would froth. That's one of her favourite movies. This is all about her. So, look, good film. Definitely recommend for mums. But how do you feel? You probably touch on a bit more detail than myself.
Look, I enjoyed it, but I thought it was a really bad movie.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
There were moments of enjoyment. I got to commend it on a few parts, which Toni Collette was really good. She had a piss weak script to deal with, and she did the best with it. Monica Bellucci, who plays Bianca, which is a right-hand woman, you'd say, was also really good. Everyone else in the film is like comically bad, like a comically bad acting. Like it's actually like some really bad performances in here.
I feel like it was supposed to be there. That's
like whether it's supposed to be there, I'm not sure, but it's like that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's fair.
But one thing the film really didn't make sense in is I really don't know its target audience, because as you said, it's got real like undertones of like a chick flick, but obviously you're dealing with the mafia situation, and it probably is more of a chick flick, but like it's actually seriously violent.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know many women out there that like, if my mum watched this, like she'd be like, oh, like if you get me, like, you know, obviously, you know, my mum quite well.
Yeah.
So she's a bit of a softie, but it just kind of like, it just felt a bit over the top for what it was, if that makes sense. Like it really lent into that. It did deal with the camp. Like it was almost a bit camp. Like it did know exactly what it was and it tried to have fun with it. It's just, it was really let down by a bad script. Like it could have been a lot funnier. As we said, Toni Collette was great and she had a couple of good moments. I giggled here and there throughout the hour and 50 long movie.
Did the pasta scene.
Like there are a few good moments in here, but overall, I think it was just really let down by the script. Like it could have been a lot more funnier than it was. I also thought the directing was like really subpar. Like there was nothing special about any of like the technical aspect, which you don't really expect during this. But
there was
like,
some weird shots. Some of the action scenes seemed like it was nearly held with like an iPhone. It was a bit wobbly, and I was like, it's a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not like a John Wick where you can go for the chaotic. Like it's not like. I mean, they specifically use handheld right during action scenes to make it feel more chaotic and anxiety-inducing, but it's not really a film that goes for that. So it just kind of felt really tonally odd. So, look, I had a decent time with it. I can't necessarily say I'd recommend it to a lot of people because, as I said, if I say to my mum, go watch this, and then with all the violence, she'd be like, why the fuck did you recommend me this kind of thing? But it has got an audience. It's just, I got to respect it as well because films like this don't really get made. Like the raunchy comedy chick flick that, I mean, we saw the trailer for the Jennifer Lawrence one. Like these films, the mid-budget comedies, I want more of them. This wasn't on the better side, but I got to respect Paramount Pictures, who obviously did it. They are really bringing out a lot of originality this year.
That's kind of what we want at the end of the day too.
It's an original. Yeah, exactly. Which we always got to respect. So it just, you know, I felt like it could have been a lot better. But other than that, I thought there were good moments, but it just kind of, I guess, fell flat for me.
Yeah, I feel a bit the same. Definitely the script was very half-assed. But you're 100% right. Target audience is a difficult one to figure out. I'd only recommend my mum because I know what she'd like, but otherwise I don't know who I'd say this film would be appropriate for per se.
Yeah, because it's not tying into like a full rom-com, right? It's not tying into a full comedy. It's kind of got remnants of both, but then also added in with like serious violent. Like, and we're not talking like, you know, someone got shot. Like we're talking like you see like amputation and shit like constantly. So it's like, it is a bit weird. It kind of almost felt like a film where everyone was like, you know what, this will be great because we get to go to Italy for 6 weeks to film the movie. I agree. So, look, I'm sure if you enjoy Toni Collette, you'll probably like the film, but I don't know who to recommend this to just because it is a bit of a tonal disaster, really. But nonetheless, Toni Collette's great as normal. I love her to bits, and I think she's an extremely underrated actress. But other than that, it was fine. Yeah. Well, not fine, but it was, you know, had enjoyable moments.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Easy. Well, other than that, if you have seen the film, which I'm pretty sure it's out everywhere now, comment below. Let us know what you think of it. Other than that, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.